And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around your real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and over 80 show partners now with our consumer quarterback show and the real estate quarterback show. And we all want to help you win in any marketplace, and that encumbers, helping you enlighten, engage, entertain, and most importantly, help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, I want you to pull out your smartphone, save our consumer advocate hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. It's 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-917-1894. And we want you to bookmark realestateradiotampa.com. That's our real estate quarterback show website. Also, consumerqb.com is our consumer quarterback show website. So consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors, over 80 show partners, the finest folks in Tampa Bay that we vetted and we hold accountable to make sure any interactions that we have with our show partners, our listeners, our viewers out there is top notch. And so we don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder, if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work, this show's for you. We want to help you win. And this segment is brought to you by expert massage therapists here in Tampa Bay, Back in Health Massage. Giving a shout out to Michael Volk, Back in Health Massage, helping people with neck, back, shoulder, hip, and leg pain feel better. Located at 3750 Gun Highway in Tampa, and right there at the corner of Del Mabry and Gun Highway. Voted top 10 massage services in Tampa Bay by the Tampa Bay Business Journal's Best in the Biz Awards. And a great massage therapist here in Tampa Bay. Also giving a shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. Shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service here in Tampa Bay, referred for a reason. And the two properties of the segment here, we got 8203 U.S. Highway 301 South in Riverview. The owner, Steve, just gave me a call, said, hey, Brandon, I want to move this property. Let's go ahead and do a reduction. We reduced it $51,000 down to $599,000 now. Great buying opportunity here in Tampa Bay. Set up, style is like a food, drink, sell, services office, and it's at 8203 U.S. Highway 301 South in Riverview. And it's $599,000 for this beautiful property, commercial property, great corner location in downtown Riverview. It's an established restaurant currently, 2,200 square feet on 0.7 acres. There's plenty of parking spaces, up to 30 parking spaces here. So any builders or developers, commercial folks out there looking, great buying opportunity, 8203 U.S. Highway 301 South. And also have a vacant lot here at 2101 Isle of Palms Drive in Valrico. It's right on the golf course, half-acre lot right on the golf course. Beautiful property. Kind of giving you a sample of things happening here in Tampa Bay. And here we are in studio, live from my heart, beautiful South Tampa, Florida here. It's your most important hour on the radio. And let's go around the horn here, make our introductions in studio. Back in studio, Kevin Wilde. He's an instructor over at Florida Firearms Academy. Welcome back in, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Today, a couple things we want to talk about is we had the gun show this past weekend, some facts about the gun show, and then also, since school's starting, child safety and whether or not you should get them into self-defense, what they should do, things like that.
Excellent. Yeah, self-defense is so key. It's such a needed area of our community now. Especially we see the headlines, we see the terrorism, we see domestic and geopolitical things happening. So Kevin Wilde, representing Florida Firearms Academy, he's going to help educate us and talk about these things that we should consider, help us think a layer deeper, and most importantly, make you just a bit more street smart out there. And also back in studio, Abe. He's the owner of Total Title Solutions here in Tampa Bay, also a restaurateur as well with Abe's Place in Pinellas County. Welcome back in, sir.
Thank you for having me back.
My pleasure.
Honored to be here.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in. I enjoyed our conversation prior to the show as well. It's all about, helping the consumers out there sort through things and avoid all that commission-based advice that's so prevalent in our community.
I totally agree with you. I'm glad you listened to that conversation where we as a human cannot go against our own self-interest. So when it is a commission-based advice, you cannot go against your self-interest. I like what you guys have built.
Thank you so much. Yes, we appreciate that. And also calling in today, we're expecting a call from William Crowley, a.k.a. the Credit Magician, going to be calling in, helping us understand this world of credit. You know, there's so many understood misnomers out there with credit. So, you know, identity theft prevention, recovery, things of that nature to help you win no matter what you're facing. Also, later in the show, we're going to talk about a weekly economic update here. We've got 2 straight months of impressive job gains and more from our experts here in studio. Again, I want you to think of this show as the hub of your financial wheel. And each spoke extending out is going to represent another one of our preferred partners, our expert contributors, the finest folks in all types of different categories: estate planning, tax planning, estate sales, you know, heavy on the real estate side, but we also have businesses as well based on the consumer quarterback show that's, you know, health and recreation related, lifestyle related. So we'd urge you to check out our websites and, you know, allow us to make these big ticket item decisions, or at least make these introductions. That way you can interview these professionals that we're going to introduce you with. And I got to tell you, we're batting 1,000%. I have not had one complaint from any of the connections that we created from this show. And it's all about helping you win in any marketplace, avoiding a lot of the stress out there. All right, so we're going to the phones now. I asked William Crowley, a.k.a. the Credit Magician, to call in, drop some nuggets of advice on us around credit. William, it's one of those things, man. There's so many misunderstood items around credit.
Yeah.
I want you to educate our listeners, brother.
Great. Well, first thing I'd like to say is that I guarantee there's going to be continued instability in the economy, causing these type of damages to our credit. For the first part, we have to be proactive. As consumers, always expect the worst from the economy, so that if things do turn out less aggressive or less negative, then, you know, we're still at the forefront. So if we're proactive as consumers in understanding the consumer laws out there to protect us, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, even aspects of the Uniform Commercial Code, then we're one step ahead of them. So when things do occur, and I guarantee you things are going to occur. First thing I think that people should do is to sign up for the credit monitoring. Get one of those credit agencies out there. I mean, a lot of my clients use Credit Check Total, Credit Karma, Annual Credit Report, but I'm not just saying that that's all you can use. There's a lot of them out there, but for the most part, be proactive, get signed up for one of these credit monitoring services. This will allow you to monitor your credit report on an annual basis. And I tell people, check it daily to see what kind of items are being reported on there, and then take the necessary action, especially if they're negative items, because the Fair Credit Reporting Act and aspects of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act can legally address these items and have a lot of this stuff corrected and or removed. And then the promotional block, Brandon, you just mentioned identity theft and recovery.
Yep.
ID theft is one of the biggest perpetrators of identity theft is the credit reporting agencies themselves. So keep your eye on them, and also put a promotional block on your credit report. Let's prevent the credit reporting agencies from just arbitrarily sending our information to people that they don't even scrutinize, or they don't even check their character. If they bring the right dollar amount, they're buying your information. And lo and behold, we don't know what they're going to do with our information, and the credit reporting agencies really don't care.
Right.
Okay, so that concern has to be put up on us. The promotional block is an aspect of the promotional package that you're going to be talking about. And then I tell people, when you do see negative items on that credit report, when you're monitoring it, immediately dispute that information using the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, we have a program that we use, but we strongly encourage people, whether you use us or anybody else, or you try to do it yourself, dispute that negative information on your credit report, because the credit reporting agencies have not verified any of that information. That goes from inquiries to bankruptcies, to tax liens, to judgments, and anything in between. I could go on and on. How much time do I have, Brandon?
Well, we got about a minute left, so I want to get this credit package out there, and then I want you to explain what happens on the back end of this credit package. We've had many of our listeners call in for the free credit package that's offered by William Crowley, a.k.a. the Credit Magician, and then I want him just to talk briefly about what happens on the back end of that. So first 5 listeners, text the word credit to our hotline at 813-917-1894. We're going to give you this free credit package, teach you how to opt out of pre-screening, cut off the junk mail coming to your mailbox, how to actually obtain a free credit report without a back-end credit card solicitation, and also the opportunity to sit down with William. But yeah, William, take 30 seconds and explain what happens on the back end of this and how you work with our listeners.
Okay, but by all means, call me for a free consultation, okay? I'll give you a free consultation. That's any area of the credit industry that you're concerned about, how it affects your credit, or whatever the case may be. But this is a free consultation, okay? I've got information out there posted, especially on this show here, that people can go back and check out the archives as well of some of my past, pieces of bits and pieces of information I've shared. But in your consult, we're going to talk about the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, Uniform Commercial Code, the credit reporting agencies, identity theft, promotional block. Whatever you want to know about, just give me a call, and we can set up a one-on-one, in person, or over the phone. I'll be more than happy to answer any question that you have.
Perfect. We're coming into our break. William Crowley, the Credit Magician. Call or text 813-917-1894, and we'll get you in touch with William. And when we come back, 2 straight months of impressive job gains and more from our experts here in studio. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. The best is yet to come. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Brandon Rhymes, your host, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay, published author, professional speaker. I'd love to come in and speak with your organization, your club, and do a positive talk, helping you overcome limiting beliefs, helping encourage you as employers, employees out there, or even students. We'd love to come into your organization and do a public speaking engagement, public speaking talk. I would remind you, hit us up on our website, consumerqb.com, or reach out on our hotline. It's 813-917-1894.
Welcome to my house.
All right, and 2 hot properties for this segment. We got 5722 Tanager Side Road in Lithia, Florida. Beautiful property here, Parkside Village, just back on the marketplace. It's 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath, pool home, and it's listed at $459,000. Great buying opportunity, over 3,200 square feet here in Lithia, Florida, 5722 Tanagerside Road. Great buying opportunity, low HOA and low CDD, no CDD fees here at this property because of the way that the lot was purchased with the developer. And also, we've got a $2 million property here. It's 527 Cloverleaf Drive in Lithia, Candlewood Acres, 3-bedroom, 2-bath property, kind of a smaller, older home on the property, but the majority of the value of this land is in the 42 acres that comes with it. And so it's 527 Cloverleaf Drive. Any builders, developers, entrepreneurs, land banks, anybody that wants to own a piece of Tampa Bay, great buying opportunity here, right at $2 million, and it buys you a beautiful property. All right, this segment is brought to you by Advantage PI. I want to give a shout out to MJ Martinez, Advantage Unlimited Investigations. He's our private investigator, partner of the show. Talks about cheaters, child custody, divorce, corporate insurance, criminal surveillance, electronic sweeps, background checks, bodyguard protection services. So many things that he can help you out with. 25 years of service, former state and federal agent as well. MJ Martinez, private investigator, AdvantagePI.com. As well as I want to give a shout out to Captain Will Smith, teaching me how to fly up in the friendly skies, getting my pilot license, and also doing some trips here and there. He has a discovery flight that he can help you learn. If you want to learn how to fly, we want you reaching out to Captain Will Smith over at Tampa Executive Airport here in Tampa Bay. Vision Aviation as well is Captain Will Smith. So we're back here in studio. I want to jump right into it, go right to Kevin. Kevin Wilde, he's an instructor with Florida Firearms Academy. And Kevin, you know, this world we live in is not as safe as most people think. A lot of times we walk around and we have this, oh, it won't happen to me syndrome. And, you know, except when it comes to buying a lottery ticket, you know, oh,
Right.
this may happen to me. And then, but, you know, let's talk about this, you know, concealed permits, you know, ways that you can protect yourself, you know, lethal and non-lethal. Let's kind of jump into that.
One of the first things I'd like to talk about is our kids.
Yeah.
You know, school's starting. It's a big concern that parents have is, oh, I don't want my kid to get kidnapped, or I don't want my kid to find themselves in a situation where they wouldn't know how to defend themselves. So we enroll them in some sort of hand-to-hand training. I taught Krav Maga for a while, and I would teach ages from 5 all the way up to grown adults. And what was interesting, but also kind of contradictory, is we would teach 5-year-olds the same exact things we would be teaching the adults, expecting the same results. Now, if we think realistically, what is a 5-year-old going to be able to do as far as physical incapacitation against a grown adult?
Right.
They're not.
Right.
The first question is why would the kid let that grown adult get that close to them? And, you know, it's not even a matter of they're forcibly grabbing them. It could be as simple as pulling up to the bus stop and saying, hey, your mom sent me, come get in the car. I'm her
Right.
friend.
Right.
I know her. And that's where the parents and the child both need to have an understanding of, I will tell you ahead of time if you're getting picked up by someone else. This is their name. This is what they look like. You've met them before, not just some random stranger.
And in a secret code word, right?
Right. Some sort of vetting that the child can utilize to ensure that, yes, I am actually supposed to go with this person. Because, you know, unfortunately, I could teach the kids how to get out of a choke escape all they wanted. But the fact of the matter is I have puppies, or I have candy, or your mom or your dad sent me.
Yeah.
Most kids are taught at a young age you don't question adults' authority.
Right.
So how do you combat that? And I think that's where an understanding of knowing safe words, knowing ahead of time you're going to get picked up will save a lot of kids. But also not downgrading self-protection. It is a good thing to learn. But you have to think of it this way, is you wouldn't put a heavyweight against a featherweight. It's not fair. But if you taught the kid how to defend themselves at their own age level, then they wouldn't be as susceptible to bullying or anybody trying to give them a hard time.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend of a friend last year, very similar situation where, you know, is at a playground and then one kid puts the other kid in the headlock. You know, that's where the kids can learn, hey, here's what you do. You step on the toe.
Right.
That would be awesome. So Florida Firearms Academy, have you done that before? Are you currently doing those types of classes?
I have taught the hand-to-hand before to kids. I currently don't right now. I'm working on getting the program facilitated. But what I would encourage parents to do is to make sure, and again, I'm not putting down any specific art. It's just a joke that we have, is we call it take my dough.
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason being is these parents get their kids enrolled in these programs, and it's not a self-defense thing, it's daycare.
Right.
If you actually go and watch what they're doing, they're not learning techniques. They're learning how to play dodge pad or hide and go seek or making obstacle courses out of the martial arts pads. And I can understand that because you have about a 30-minute window to teach the child to keep them interested. Then after that, they're zoning out. They're not really thinking about the technique itself, and they don't understand the gravity of the situation. So that's something you're combating. So I would encourage your parents to look into it to see what are they actually learning as far as not just the physical techniques, but also the situational awareness and the wherewithal to know what I should do in a situation.
Yeah, very important. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're talking with Kevin Wilde here. He's an instructor over at Florida Firearms Academy, located right there, conveniently located right there in Oldsmar, Florida, right down the road from the Oldsmar Flea Market as a good landmark. But, yeah, you can go in, you can learn how to get your, first of all, what I like about it is you go in and you can actually rent or use a gun for the day, find out what gun you like, and then learn how to properly utilize the weapon.
Right. One thing that we always make sure of before you go out on the range is you know what you're doing. Just the other day I had some students come in. They didn't purchase a firearm from us, which, it's a great free market. Anybody can go anywhere. So they purchased a firearm from elsewhere, but they came in. I showed them how to take it apart. I showed them how to clean it. I showed them how to hold it. Showed them everything they needed to know so that they would be successful out on that shooting range. And that's one thing I think that differentiates us is we are helpers. Yeah. We are facilitators. We're not just trying to get a sale from you. We want to make sure that you actually know what you're doing. And we have over 100 rentals that you can come in and try out. And even if you've never handled a gun before, we'll show you what you need to do in order to go out and use them on the range.
Yeah, and we did a show special one time, I think, last time, wasn't it? Like they could utilize a gun for free or something like that?
Right. We were continuing that special, and it's if you come in and talk about the Consumer Quarterback Show, what you'll do is you get 10% off your membership, and you also get free rental for the day.
Cool.
So
awesome.
You're getting a membership, which is going to save you having to pay range fees every single time, and you're getting a free rental, which is a $15 value. All you have to do is buy the ammunition at that point, and we'll guide you through the process of selecting an appropriate firearm for you.
That's cool. Thanks for doing that. Yeah, so you heard it, guys. Let's text in or call in at 813-917-1894. You can call or text Florida Firearms Academy or shooting guns at 813-917-1894 and take Kevin up on that offer. Go out, learn how to protect your family. Maybe it's been a while since you've shot. Go in there and just polish up your skills.
Right. Shooting is not a skill like riding a bike.
Right.
It is a very perishable skill that unless you are consistently practicing it, you won't remember your sight alignment. You won't remember how to handle that recoil. You won't remember your proper trigger manipulation. And if any one of those variables is off, you're not hitting the mark anymore.
Right.
Accuracy always supersedes caliber, which is another misconstruction that people have of, I need a 45 because I want stopping power.
Yeah.
If you can't shoot the bullseye, then what good is that bullet going to do for you? You know what I mean? That's great. I have a car that can do 200 miles an hour, but I only drive it in the neighborhood.
Right.
What good is that?
Yeah.
So a lot of misconceptions that we see people having, and we just like to help them out and guide them through that. And, even in the self-defense realm, there's a lot of misconceptions about, well, I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't need to know how to use a gun. And that's fine and dandy that you know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but if I'm 10 feet from you, what is that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu going to do for you?
Yeah, exactly.
In an active shooter situation, unless you're right on top of that individual, what good is that going to do for you?
Yep.
No different than the person who only carries a gun doesn't think, well, I don't need to learn self-defense. Right. I have a gun. I'm good. And that, again, what are you going to do when that individual is too close to you where you don't have the time necessary to draw from concealment and utilize your firearm correctly?
Yeah, they shoot in, they take out your legs, you're down on the ground, all of a sudden you're in a brawl. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to get to that.
I think the next thing is maybe you can disqualify the myth versus fact based on TVs and movies. I think that what you're describing is what most people see on movies, and that's what we learn, really.
Yeah.
So it's not reality.
Well, one thing is human beings learn by seeing, hearing, or doing. We call it auditory, visual, or kinesthetic.
Yep.
Everybody sees on TV and they think, oh, I got to do the lethal weapon where I hold the gun up in the air and that's how I go into the room. And it's like, that's not what you want to do.
Yeah.
No different than they see these movies of this guy taking out 20 people with one shot each. That's not reality in the slightest bit.
And they also miss a lot in the movies.
Yeah.
It's like, man, all those shots fired, they missed them every time.
Yeah. Where did those rounds go?
Yeah.
Who did they hit? You know what I mean? And that's something that they don't talk about on movies or TV.
Well, let's do this. When we come back, we're going to hear from Abe, Total Title Solutions. We're going to talk some real estate. We're going to talk about his awesome restaurant as well. And I want to have Kevin wrap up also some of the alternative, means of protection as well. It doesn't have to be a gun. There's these alternative ways that you can do it with pepper spray, mace, and those types. So stay with us. We're protecting you. We're making you more street smart. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex. Short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Real Estate Quarterback Show. In studio with Kevin Wilde, Florida Firearms Academy, as well as Abe representing Total Title Solutions and Abe's Place. Got an awesome restaurant over here in Pinellas County as well. And we're back here in studio, and I want to plug a couple of our sponsors. We got an awesome restaurant partner, guys. If you haven't checked out Hula Bay, you don't know what you're missing. It's a great waterfront ambiance right here in South Tampa, over off of Tyson, just south of Gandy, and on the west side of West Shore, right down south there. Great waterfront ambiance, awesome food, sushi, burgers, tacos, such awesome food, specials as well. And I also want to give a shout out to Smart Move Moving and Storage, the official moving partner of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. And two hot listings here in the Bay Area. I've got 414 South Royal Palm Way in Tampa, 33609, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2 half bath in Beach Park. Beautiful buying opportunity, over 4,800 square feet, listed at $1.195 million. Owners are motivated. Great buying opportunity. at 414 South Royal Palm Way. Also have a property here, 1209 North Fort Harrison Avenue. It's a gas station. It's commercial property. The gas station has been cleaned out, so it's zone commercial. Great rectangular shop that sits on over half an acre with a small building on it, 400 square foot building. And you've got 158 feet of road frontage right here just west of US 19, 1209 North Fort Harrison Avenue in Clearwater, $269,000. Great buying opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay.
No shoes, no shirt, and no problem.
All right, we were talking self-defense earlier with Kevin. We're going to come back to Kevin, talk about some of the alternative ways that you can defend yourself with outside of handguns and having these types of as well non-lethal type ways. But I want to switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit of real estate now. Switching gears, talking with Abe over here. He's the owner of Total Title Solutions, and welcome back in.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent.
Earlier, we were talking about the latest in the news, the flood insurance and how it's affecting the purchases. And I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but a couple of years ago with the Baggett bill that was passed, it was going to put the flood insurance at an astronomical rate.
Right.
Well, it's coming back again right now to where the flood insurance is actually hiking up a little bit. So I guess my advice to you all, before you buy the property or before you select your property, do check the flood line on that property.
Right, yeah. A lot of times, too, if it's a vacant lot, you want to get a survey done to find out what they call is the delineation line. Where does the wetland fall? Where is your buildable land? And then, what is your the actual elevation of that? You want to get an elevation certificate. That's going to let you know if you're above the floodplain. And yeah, you're right on point, Abe. But, it was a few years ago, Superstorm Sandy hits, and it really just killed the fund that was set aside with the National Flood Insurance Program.
It decimated it. I'm glad you mentioned the survey, Brandon. All right. So there you go. You're a buyer. You're making this huge purchase in your life. And some of us is the only large purchase we'll ever make in our lifetime.
Right.
And then you fight us on not buying or not ordering a survey. And a lot of things could happen if you don't have a survey. You can be encroaching on your neighbor. You don't have right to legal access. There is so many things. And most of all, of course, the elevation certificate nowadays. I would not order a survey without the elevation certificate. But I cannot believe that some people actually say, no, we don't need the survey. You really should spend that extra few $100 and buy a survey before you purchase a real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. Give a shout out to Target Surveying as well. We've got a local rep here, Shane Price, does a great job on a lot of the surveys that we order. But yeah, it's so important, as a consumer out there. Sometimes you want to take a little shortcut here. You want to maybe waive your inspection, your right to inspection here. But, it's a huge purchase for a lot of homeowners, and it's very important that you get do the due diligence. They call it due diligence period.
Especially on a vacant lot. A lot of people don't understand that you're buying a vacant lot. I don't need the survey. I'm paying in cash. I get that, but believe me, you could actually be not buying what you're paying for. So you really need to get that survey. There was another company as well. The name have escaped me, but they also can carve out, instead of designate the entire area in a flood zone, they can actually carve out your particular home based on your elevation certificate as well.
Yeah.
So that could help out quite a bit.
That's interesting. I actually had a call from one of our listeners. He contacted me through the show. He can submit the form, by the way. You can submit the form at realestateradiotampa.com. If you have a comment or question, you can submit a form there. And this gentleman did, and it was an interesting group that his company, it's basically an engineering type firm, and they specialize in exactly that, Abe. They will go and they will help you as a homeowner challenge the fact that you have to have flood insurance because of the elevation and some other factors.
That's right. And it can be very helpful. On the flip side to that, I really do believe that eventually they're going to fix the flood insurance as a permanent fix for life. Right now, with our election year, nobody's paying attention, but eventually we have to fix it. Otherwise, nobody will be buying or selling a home. I mean, we're not talking about flood insurance on the beach here. We're talking about flood insurance in Pasco County. And sometimes these properties are less than $100,000, and you have to pay $4,000 or $5,000 in a flood insurance. Nobody's going to be buying a house if they don't fix that in
Yeah, it's
for good.
frustrating. It's you know, because when you think about the beach and coastal properties, you're in what they call a velocity zone, meaning the velocity of that storm is going to push through and carry through, and you're going to get potentially some sea push. The water on this coastal construction area is going to push up. Now, yeah, exactly. And so when you're further in Hillsborough County or you're in Pasco counties further inland, you know, there's a less need for that, and it's more about the rain, how much the rain's going to come down, and how it's going to percolate through the soil, and the rate that it will do such. So, yeah, it's interesting. I want to touch on this and get your opinion as well here, Abe. Kind of a weekly economic update from the quarterback here. It says 2 straight months of impressive job gains. The Department of Labor provided Wall Street and Main Street with some great news Friday. Last month, population of America with full-time jobs rose by 255,000. About 70,000 of the workers hired in July found employment within the professional and business service sectors. In addition to June, hiring gain was slightly revised upwards of 292,000 as the labor force participation increased to 62.8 in July. The headline jobless rate stayed at 4.9%, while the broader U6 measurement of unemployment came in at 9.7%. The average wage rose 0.3% across the past year. The economy has added an average of 206,000 jobs per month. So what's your take on that?
Awesome news. First of all, I have to tell you from previous past that we can measure our own economics over here. As long as you see more coffee shops propping up everywhere, there is no bad economy. But I'm glad that they're confirming this. But of course, this is more for all of us. The more employment out there, the more consumers out there, the more selling and buying homes out there, the more people buying my hamburgers or my chicken wings. It is a wonderful thing for all of us as a country, as a society, when the employment is hot, when people find employment. So for that, kudos to everybody else. But as far as employment, us ourselves at my company, in the last couple of months, we've added more than 10 full-time employees in my company.
Nice.
And we still cannot find enough qualified employees for one of our companies. So after all, there's plenty of it there. But what we really truly need is more vocational school to teach other people's skills for those other 5% that have not found a job yet. Because you know what? As employers, we do want to hire, Brandon. We do want to hire. That's how we make our money, by hiring employees. But when you cannot find the qualified employee, even for a menial job, that's a terrible thing.
Yeah, you know, and that's one of the things you hear a lot echoed throughout, at least throughout my life. I've heard that a lot of my family's self-employed, and as I go around and I talk to business owners, it's, you know, finding good help is hard. You know, that's something that is frequently, you know, repeated in conversations I've had. So, it's interesting. You know, it's interesting.
We do need the skills. I mean, you see what's happening with our society is we've decided we want to push everybody to college. Well, that's wonderful, but you know what? We still need the plumbers, the electricians, we still have so many other trades that are not being taught that is well in demand today and very well shortage as well.
Yeah, that's what I had my uncle on the show last week, Joseph Catano. He's running for Hillsborough County School Board District 7. I've got his flyer here, and he says we need to improve our graduation rate and focus on training our non-college bound children to train with motivation. The various trades are awaiting professionally trained employees. So he was talking more about the types. I forgot the exact word for that, but it's
and Brendan, we can't look down at these people too. This is our fault as a society. We have actually looked down at the blue collar, and we says, okay, you're not worth anything if you're a blue collar. You got to go get a college education. Mm-hmm. The truth is, I could tell you, there's many plumbers that they make a lot more money than me and you put together, or air conditioning people and so on. So we can't actually push these people out of our lives or out of our communities. I mean, some communities, it doesn't even allow you to park your truck in there.
Yeah.
So we push these people out, like out of bounds. So we shouldn't do that to them.
Yeah, absolutely. The HOA says, no, you can't park your work van here. I mean, it's frustrating.
And since when work is an embarrassing thing to do, I'm sorry. I mean, if your car is dilapidated, I get that. But if it's my work truck, I'm proud of it.
Yeah,
why not?
Exactly. I'm with you. I'm with you. And it's kind of, the old rich dad, poor dad, being an employee versus being self-employed. There's many ways. A lot of people are kind of, saying, hey, college might not be the best idea these days. You can go off and get specialized training in real estate or different career paths and then go in and make a lot of money. You can go to different types of, law enforcement. There's different ways you can look at it. So, hey, great conversation. Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to hear more from Kevin Wilde, Florida Firearms Academy, as well as Abe. He's the owner of Total Title Solutions and also has an awesome restaurant in Pinellas County called Abe's Place. So stay with us. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Brandon Rhymes, your host here, Real Estate Quarterback Show. This segment is brought to you by Source One Solutions, the security partner of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Giving a shout out to Robert Hessel, Source One Solutions, their Honeywell provider. Awesome, awesome job. Long-time show partner, over 2 or 3 years now with the Quarterback Show. Very happy to have Source One Solutions as the official security partner of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, as well as Greg Geyer over at Printing Solutions Inc., digitalprintingsource.com. Does a great job printing a lot of pop-up banners, postcards, business cards, any type of print mediums for us, and does a great job. Give a shout-out to Greg Geyer, Printing Solutions Inc., digitalprintingsource.com. And we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa here, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's your most important hour on the radio. We're your consumer advocate here in Tampa Bay. Also have a weekend show on 102.5 The Bone on Sunday mornings. And I want to remind you, you can watch all of our live streams as well on our YouTube channel or streaming live. If you're hearing the show live right now, you can go to our website, realestateradiotampa.com, watch the live stream, as well as our partner, Tampa Bay Multimedia, as well. So 2 hot listings for this segment. We got 8211 Brent Street, unit number 838. Got a beautiful view here of the intercoastal waterways right on out to the Gulf of Mexico. 2 bedrooms, 2-bath condo, and it's a community pool. Got your own boat dock here as well, listed at $389,000 for almost 1,700 square foot heated. Great buying opportunity. And also have another Heritage Isles property here at 18158 Canal Point Street. And it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property, single-family home, gated community, Heritage Isles Golf Community. And beautiful buying opportunity, elaborate pool. The kids will love this at 18158 Canal Point Street. Listed at $179, owners motivated. And I believe we have an open house going on this weekend as well. So for this or any of your real estate questions, comments, concerns, check us out. Go to our website, consumerqb.com, and we're back here in studio. So we're going to go around the horn here and do our lightning round. All right, what we're doing here, top consumer tips, things to do, things to avoid, nuggets of advice. Kevin Wilde, Florida Firearms Academy.
I would say one of the top ones is, let's say you want to protect yourself, but you're not necessarily comfortable with a firearm, which is understandable. There's a lot of misconceptions as far as what they do. I don't want it to go off. Well, the only way you can make it go off is by pulling the trigger. We can teach you that if you take one of our classes. But let's say you're not at that level yet. What can you do? There's a lot of different things. One thing I strongly recommend is buying a quality flashlight that has a lot of lumen output. And what lumens means is how bright is it?
Right.
If you get a bright enough flashlight, when we know most encounters will happen in a low light situation, by shining that bright flashlight into your assailant's eyes, you're taking away their visual acuity because you're taking away their night vision. You're still retaining yours, but you're taking away theirs. Nice part about a flashlight as well is I don't have to be within a certain range to use it. If you shine a bright light in someone's eyes 20 feet or 5 feet away from you, it's going to have the same effect. It's taking away their visual acuity. By doing so, it creates an opportunity for you to exit the situation. If they're close enough, I like to say you flash them, then you bash them.
Yeah.
You hit them with the flashlight itself. They do make one. Surefire sells one. It's called the Surefire Defender. And the bevel on it's actually serrated so that you could use it as an impact weapon similar to a Kubaton if you had to.
Nice.
Another option, which I'm not 100% behind, is pepper spray. And the reason I'm not 100% behind it is it's not instantaneous. It's not like spraying acid on someone's face. It does take a little amount of time for that to take effect. And in that time frame, which could be anywhere, depending on the individual, of 15 to 30 seconds, what can they be doing? Not only did we just escalate the situation, but now you've made them mad because you've sprayed them with something and now they know what's coming. I don't need to see you to hit you. If I can feel you, I can strike you.
Right.
And most of the times when you break out that pepper spray, you're going to be within a range or a proximity that's going to allow you to be within striking distance. So just a couple different things. Another thing is don't get stuck in functional fixedness, meaning anything could be used as a weapon of opportunity, whether it's a water bottle, a pen, a newspaper, if you roll it up, makes a great striking object as well. So there's lots of different things you can utilize in a self-defense encounter. Don't just stick to, oh, I have to have a knife, or I have to have a gun, or I have to have a baton. There's many different tools you can utilize.
Yeah, in case you missed it earlier as well, Kevin had a offer for our listeners out there. What was it, 10% off?
10% off the range fee and free rental if you come in and mention the Consumer Quarterback Show.
Perfect. Yep, and you're located right there in Oldsmar, right on Tampa Road, Hillsborough Avenue.
Right behind the Direct Tire is the landmark we like to tell people to look for.
Perfect. All right, consumer advocate tips, things to do, things to avoid. Abe, Total Title Solutions.
One tip is don't be in a back alley with Kevin. I mean, that's tip number one, really. You don't want to do that. I would say spend abundance of time and effort up front and money as well during your due diligence before you make your large purchase as a real estate or suffer the consequences later. There's also a misconception in the commercial real estate that people buy on whether a highway or otherwise, that they forget to do their due diligence. Is there a bridge going to come in the next 10 years there and just dilapidate the crap out of your property? There's something like, a lot of people have missed it, and you think we're in the business community a bit more diligent than we are, but we make the same mistake as everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. You know, beach condos, is there's going to be another condo go up next to you, block your view on the beach. Dig deeper, ask the right questions. And what kind of transactions are you seeing mostly over there, Abe? A lot of single-family homes, I'm sure, but are you seeing apartment complexes coming through there?
Well, the single-family home under 250 has been a hot commodities. I mean, truly. But what we're seeing most recently is refinance market is picking up. People that bought a few years ago, and now the interest rate is a little bit better, they're refinancing. As far as multiple home listing, the duplexes are in hot demand at this moment.
Right.
The larger properties, it seemed like this market have subsided a little bit, and it's only for the big players. So the smaller players are looking after the duplex and the triplex at this moment.
Yeah, it's interesting. I listened to Grant Cardone. I was just listening to one of his Bigger Pockets podcasts, and one of my friends that I met at Business Mastery with Tony Robbins, Rod, had just started a podcast, and he just had a recent interview with him, and how competitive it is to buy these big apartment complexes. These are multi-million-dollar deals, and the point is that the seller just wants to know that the person is going to close, and the real estate agent on the other end wants to know that the deal is going to close. So it's interesting his strategy that he utilizes, because he has his own private plane and some of the things he does to get the deal.
High demand right now for apartment buildings. High demand. I mean, they're building left and right. I mean, I don't know if you've been into Orlando recently, but my God, there's got to be like 1,000 of them on I-4, just visible from I-4, 3 stories high. So
we're renters. We're a renter society now. I think the things of over 50% of home ownership, I think, is really dwindled, and unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to come back. There's so many people are forced into being renters because of their credit being mangled, different things happening. But yeah, it's interesting.
Brandon, I would like to say that I think it will come back just based on the job market that you're talking about. The people getting raises, people getting paid more. Eventually, things will subside. They're clean. You got your doctor credit on the phone. They'll be back. Right. Home ownership will be back, whether 2 years or 10 years from now. But we'll be back very strongly.
Yeah, absolutely. And my nuggets of advice is any business owners, anybody out there that's, you've been pushing real hard, you've been growing your business, you've been working hard, just remember that sometimes anything of value takes a while to build. I sometimes have to step back and remind myself of this. I'm reminded of a story of the Chinese bamboo tree. It's a hard nut. It's a very hard nut. You plant it in the ground, and you've got to water it for 5 years of everyday water, nourishment, food of this nut, and then finally in that 5th year it breaks through the ground and it busts out of the ground, and over 6 weeks it grows to over 90 feet tall in just 6 weeks. So the question is, did it take 5 years to grow or only 6 weeks? And of course the answer is 5 years to grow and the 6 weeks of the burst through of the momentum. So it's all this momentum. A lot of times as business owners, as professionals out there, we're kind of stuck in this, I'm just not seeing the results. I think I might have to give up. I don't know what's going to happen. Just think about that Chinese bamboo tree. And, you're about there. You're almost there. Just keep pushing. So let's go around the horn real quick. We got about 20 seconds each. I want to finish up on a positive note. Kevin, Florida Firearms Academy, nuggets of advice.
Stay safe, stay alert. That's it. Simple.
Keep your head on a swivel, like they used to say in the football days, right? If you don't look for that blindside hit, you're going to get it. You're going to get what they call an ear hole.
Yeah. If you don't see it coming, nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Be alert. I like that. Abe?
There's a huge advantage of home ownership. Please take the opportunity and buy yourself a house.
Right. Yeah. Get off the fence. If you're out there renting, we want to get you into home ownership. We want to help you. And it's not just for motivation so we can make money. It's just so you can live a better life. So you can leave that legacy for your family. Your children are going to look up to you and say, wow, my mom did it. She's a single parent, but she did it. She bought her own home against all odds. She buckled down. She saved. She put money into escrow, and she was able to buy a home. Right now, we've all heard the rates are at the 40, 50, 60-year lows. We want you to live a better life. We want to educate, entertain, engage, but most importantly, we want to help you win no matter what you're facing out there. So check us out. Call us up. Our hotline is 813-917-1894. We have over 80 show partners that can help you no matter what you're facing out there. We have the best experts that are going to help you. They're going to hold your hand through the process, credit improvement, mortgage, finance, estate planning, tax planning, all the best experts. So Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com, and please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time.